Hello and welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered podcast. I'm Shreyojit and today you're watching Unfiltered with Shreyojit. Today we have our guest Somak. Hello Somak.
Hello.
I think I also have a question in mind which that came to my mind when I was talking about it. That do you think that graphical fidelity or graphics is more important, or do you think that gameplay mechanics are more important?
For my opinion, I think that the gameplay mechanism is the most important thing because in the history of the gaming, we didn't have any graphics. On that time, I think merely minimum of some people can afford the graphic cards. So I think the mechanism is the most important thing apart from graphics. And for now generation, the games are basically based on graphics, more realistically things, and many others. So
Say something about it as well. I think that if you look at the top charts, the top played games, the most played game is Minecraft and the other one is Fortnite. What is Fortnite? It's basically a cartoon animated type of graphics, and Minecraft is a 64 by 64 bits. So if you look at them, they are not absolutely based on graphics. So I think that one thing that is most important is being unique and creative, so that it sets apart from all the other titles like Minecraft. Do we have ever seen a game where you can have an open world, you can build your home, you can do whatever you want, you have to base. I think it is one of the first survival games that are ever made, so it is a unique idea, that's why it prevailed. And these days we can see like huge graphical fidelity advancements like path tracing, ray tracing with games like Cyberpunk, Alan Wake. But obviously this is a blessing, but the blessing also brings along with it a huge cost, that is actual money to buy it, so not everyone can afford a 4070 or like something like a 4080 or 4090 to even run these games at a playable frame rate, right? Frame rate is basically the smoothness of the game in simple words. And I think what companies should do to focus is to make the game in such a way that it's unique and different from other games at this point. And the gameplay is the most important mechanic. I think one of the best example of this I think is God of War series, because God of War 2018 was really good, but all the mechanics were a bit revamped as well. But I think the new mechanics that they introduced in God of War Ragnarok were literally like changing the game's perspective a little bit for me, but I think for YouTubers as well who were reviewing that copy of the game. And finally, if we talk about it, what do you think is the one most important thing that could save the gaming industry from the way it is heading into the darkness?
That's a very interesting question actually. To save the gaming industry, what should be done? I think there are many kind of games, such as the competitive games. As you can see, you have told Fortnite, one competitive games, Valorant, CS2, and many other competitive games are there. They are also making their progress. But about the games that are older, like that have been put down, like there was one famous game actually named Max Payne 2. Max Payne the series, actually.
Yes, exactly.
It was actually a very famous game of that time. And now they are putting down and low. They are also releasing a new game actually. So I think concept-based games we need more to build the new generation attention. What do you think?
I think what is really important is that to listen to the community. We don't want what makes money, but we want what actually makes the people not play your game, but after playing it come back to your game for a second, third playthrough. Playing a game once is one thing, but coming back to it and enjoying it like a whole new experience is like another thing. Some games that do it the best are Witcher 3 and like Spider-Man Remastered, Spider-Man 2. All these games are really good at making you feel attached to the game, especially Witcher 3 I'm talking about. And some people would also argue that Elden Ring, but I haven't played those myself, so I can't really comment about it. And what I think is the most important thing is that being unique, as I said before. And when we talk about games, we always think about big titles like Assassin's Creed and all that, but we also forget about that indie developers, like games which are like Power Wash Simulator. These are not like huge graphical fidelity games or huge gameplay mechanics, but this contains something unique which makes us always come back to the game for a because these days I think one of the really bad things about these generations games are that they are too much competitive, because I'm not a much of a competitive gamer, if you know. So I would during my free time I would like to make myself relaxed, so I would play a game that would actually relax me rather than get on the competitive grind. So indie games like Taxi Simulator and all those, I really love them. So I think that developers should incentivize them, and also I want to thank and acknowledge modders as well, who make such brilliant mods and bug fixes for games. And thank you to all of you who work towards making mods for games. And I think developers should learn and also give credit to the modders and use their resources, but obviously giving credit and all of the monetary resources that are required. I think one of the best companies that did that was the CD Projekt Red with The Witcher 3 Remastered for PC. They paid a bunch of people for the 4K texture pack and all that, and I really appreciate their move about that. And that's about it. But before we end this, I would like to ask you your favorite gaming studio and your top 5 games, if you say.
Favorite gaming studio, you ask? I am going with Rockstar Games. Actually, that was my first game that I have played from Rockstar.
No argument on my side. No argument on my side on that. Yes.
So that was my first game I have played, and second, if you ask, I will say the recent game, the competitive game, Valorant, that I have focused on mainly. And rather than the story based, I am talking about the competitive actually.
Yes.
GTA series actually was great, and the GTA 6 is coming from 2000 in 2005,
right?
Yes. What is your opinion about it?
I think the one thing that I liked the most about Rockstar Games' newest title from RDR2 was that how lively it felt. When you walk down the city of Saint Denis in RDR2, you felt like the people who walk down the street is actually living. Because I saw a video on YouTube where there was like a farmer who used to wake up at 7 o'clock and then go back, do his chores and go back to his home, then feed his children and all those stuff. I saw videos, so it is so realistic that an actual NPC doing all this life stuff that actual people do. I think that is really mesmerizing. I am really excited about what Rockstar has to offer even more. But what I'm really excited and I really want from the game is something like immersion. One most important thing about a game is immersion for an open world game. What do you think about it?
It is emotion, because you feel relatable. You can relate with the character, that what you can do, and in the real life there are something boundaries that you can't do, and in the gaming universe you can do anything about it. You can come down riding a helicopter, shooting down people, to stealing cars, anything in GTA.
Yes, exactly. And I think parents think that it's a very bad influence on kids and stuff. But at the end of the day, hey parents, if you're listening to this video, you watch a movie that does kill 7 people in a road accident and it's not violent at all, but gaming is. So thank you for that. But yes, I think that it's really about the perspective if you think about it. Movies also do this thing, even more violent things, the R-rated movies. But if you know, because if you're sensible enough, why would you do that in real life, right? because like Mad Max is doing, sorry, not Mad Max, I think Rambo is like doing some crazy stuff in the movies. So would you just blast 500 bullets at one time and take 500 shots without dying? So it is not actually a sensible thing, right?
Actually, that's why the Rockstar games or the GTA games have a tag in it that 18 plus only, so that they can relate.
Yes, yeah, this is another thing that news outlets say that this is not made for kids. Yeah, this is not made for kids. It says on the cover. Your parents are not careful enough to buy your kids all these games. So parents, be sensible, and there are games that kids can actually learn from. Minecraft, then games like Raft, or games which where you can learn social stuff like puzzle games and all those stuff. I'm not talking about boring games that are found on the websites and stuff. There are actual indie developers who make games which are really good for your mental health as well as for your mental development. So please give them a shot. And as I was saying, that what are your top 5 games that you like of all time?
So first, GTA, the series.
Yeah. Okay.
Then Red Dead Redemption.
Okay. Second one.
Third, Batman, Arkham Knight.
Okay.
Fourth, I would place Minecraft. Fourth, Minecraft. Minecraft. Actually, it was my fourth actually. And fifth, Valorant. I actually play some of the competitive matches also in Valorant, and I think I should place Valorant in 5. What about your 5?
First of all, if I before I say my 5, I would like to say that I like all titles that are made by Rockstar. And another publisher I really appreciate is CD Projekt Red. First of all, because of the Witcher series, which I've played, but I've seen many walkthroughs of, because back in the day I didn't have the hardware in order to run those games, and I'm blessed now to have such, and I would surely give it a try soon. And one thing that they did with Cyberpunk was like, it's so buggy at first, but they released so many updates and all of them for free. It's really appreciable what these developers are doing. So for my top 5, I would go for Red Dead Redemption 2 first. Secondly, I would go for Grand Theft Auto 4. Fourthly, I would go for Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I would say Grand Theft Auto San Andreas because of one of my favorite characters in the industry, that is Carl Johnson. And I think the character CJ really brought out the meaning of passion and being with your mates forever without betraying anyone. It really taught me a lesson as a person and made me a really better version of myself, I would say. And the last 2 I would say is probably Minecraft, because obviously, like, I'm not saying the single player version of it though. I'm saying when you are playing with your friends on a server or something like that, even with mods and stuff, I think that's really engaging, and playing with your friends just brings a different level to the game. And my last game of the series would be, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I think it's a very underrated choice in the franchisee, because I think it's one of the best pirate games ever made, and plus obviously the Assassin's Creed factor, and it is far better than the stuff that Ubisoft is selling now, and it's obviously one thing that we can cherish for all our lives. Yes. Okay.
So I think that's it for the today's video and podcast.